What do you want in an MMA fight? Some might say crazy knockout, some might be asking for grappling, wizardry, and an out-of-this-world submission. Others just want chaos. The rest might prefer a slugfest, but it's quite evident that the entertainers are the fighters who indulge in a dogfight. They all might have excellent grappling or striking, but brawling distinguishes them from the rest of the pack. But what if I say we have a fighter with all these tools? He's got submissions, he has knockouts, has exquisite skills, and then is a finishing machine. And before you ask me the name, let me tell you he ain't the only one in there. He has a whole squad full of savages in the octagon, a team of killers who all have a knack for finishing their opponents. Fighters who are comfortable in each facet of combat sports, and that's not easy to pull off. Ladies and gentlemen, meet from Sao Paulo, Brazil, the Fighting Nerds. This team of killers with their unique glasses is on the rise, and they're bringing something new every time they come to the cage. So in today's video, let's see who these spectacle-wearing savages are, what makes them so special, and why their future in the UFC is looking brighter and brighter with each fight. Let's jump in.
Team of the year, yup, that's right. I'm talking about the Fighting Nerds. These guys have gone 11-0 and 9 finishes. Absolutely ridiculous.
The Fighting Nerds might have the quirkiest name in MMA, but don't let that fool you. These nerds are serious threats inside the cage. What started as a small squad with a vision in Sao Paulo has quickly turned into one of the most talked about teams in the UFC. What makes them different? Well, it's simple. They're not just good at one thing, they're good at everything. But where did this team come from? Back in 2014, Caio Borralho moved from his hometown in São Luís to Sao Paulo to chase his dream of becoming a pro MMA fighter. He was an established grappler, but his striking was average. One of his friends there told him to check out Pablo Sucupira to polish his stand-up game. The natural would go there the next day. Coincidentally, Pablo, on his first day there, asked him to spar with him. Unbeknownst to Caio, the same guy happened to be a coach at that facility. What surprised Borralho that day was the beatdown Sucupira dished out during their first training session. After that hard training session that day, something clicked between the two. This student-coach bond turned into two good friends over time. Both became inseparable, and eventually both decided to start their gym, and the Fighting Nerds were born. Leading the charge is head coach Pablo Sucupira, an undefeated boxer in his fighting days who always wanted to be a coach. Pablo's vision was to create well-rounded fighters who could dominate every aspect of the game. This team isn't about becoming a specialist in just one area, whether that's striking, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu. It's about being a complete package. Imagine a fighter who's deadly with their hands, but just as dangerous when they hit the ground or while on the fence with their clinch game and some brutal knees. Sounds like a nightmare, right? And that's exactly what the Fighting Nerds have been building. Fighters who are versatile, adaptable, and always one step ahead. The opportunity to showcase the Fighting Nerds' eyewear choice is a priority just as much as winning is for them. This has become all the rage among the fans. The spectacles, which are purposely taped in the middle to call out the old nerd stereotype of having their eyewear broken by bullies. These taped up frames are a badge of honor for them. It's like the papaka hats made famous by the Dagestanis in MMA. Remember at UFC 303, Jean Silva put the glasses on Joe Rogan after his win. What used to be a joke and looked down upon is now being flexed with pride. More power to these guys. They're an absolute bunch of Brazilian killers. Now let's talk about the standout fighters coming out of the Fighting Nerds. These guys are killing it in the UFC, and each one of them is bringing something unique to the table. First up, we've got Carlos Prates. With a well-rounded game that blends striking and grappling, Prates is the true definition of what it means to be a fighting nerd. His fight IQ is off the charts. The guy's got a wild combo of styles, cigarettes, booze, and vicious knockouts. That's the Carlos Prates recipe for stardom. Strange, but true. Prates is a habitual drinker and smokes 8 to 10 cigarettes a day. If he goes on winning while keeping all that swagger, the UFC has a bona fide contender. Oh wait, I mean the UFC has a bona fide superstar on their hands, and it's looking more believable by the day. The Fighting Nerd striker went from an unranked fighter to the UFC's number 13 welterweight. This all happened after he debuted in January, and by December he had gone undefeated 4-0 in the UFC by amassing 4 knockouts and 4 straight Performance of the Night bonuses. Next, we've got John Silva. This guy is insane. He's got that ferocious Wanderlei Silva energy in him, reminiscent of the Axe Murderer from the Pride era. Him going crazy on the scale last month was hilarious. He was barking and hollering like a man possessed. It felt like he was iShow Speed's long-lost brother in Brazil. But he was all action on fight day as well, displaying his slick striking, which led to a first-round knockout finish. Now, Silva claims he ain't the one responsible for all this carnage, rather it's his alter ego, Lord Assassin, who takes over in there. Allegedly, his wife is the one who helps him control this alter ego when it appears outside of his fighting career. Like fellow nerd Prates, he's 4-0 in the UFC, with all 4 coming by way of stoppage. Next month, he takes on Bryce Mitchell, and a win here could throw Silva into the mix of legit contenders. Jean is the definition of a complete fighter, and he's already making waves in the featherweight division. Then there's Maurizio Ruffi. Ain't nobody striking as creative as that of Maurizio Ruffi. Take a look at his debut fight where he executed this 6-scissor takedown. Well, you can imagine that, especially in his debut fight, just screams confidence with no pressure of being in his native country, Brazil. Like, Ruffi's got ice in his veins. Ruffi capped it off with a knockout of Jamie Mullarkey, which came in the very first round. If you want another example, well, look at that beautiful spinning wheel kick knockout of King Green at UFC 313. Green is a grizzled vet in the octagon and might be on the downside, but hasn't felt so out of place against any of his adversaries in his UFC tenure. Like his nerdy teammates, Maurizio is known to be a dangerous power puncher and is undefeated, trying to make a name for himself in the lightweight division. The 28-year-old is on a very high rise and will be a contender soon with his flashy style. Just wait and watch. And last but not least, the one who started it all with the head coach Caio Borralho. Borralho has been making noise in the UFC with his impressive performances, and it's clear that he's got that fighting nerd mentality, balanced, calculated, and aggressive when he needs to be. He's gone 7-0 in the octagon and is knocking on the door of contention, having defeated former title challenger Jared Cannonier. The number 6 ranked middleweight fighter might just be a fight away from a title bout, but anyway, big things are on the plate for him, courtesy of his superior grappling and on-point striking game. All the fighters from the Fighting Nerds come in with serious momentum. Borralho might be the unofficial captain, but each of the other fighters is stepping up in their division, and the fans are totally behind all of them. It's not just about the glasses or the wins in the ring, it's about the vibe they're putting out. So what is it about this squad that makes them so special? Why are they succeeding where others might not? It's simple. The key is that complete fighter mentality. When you've got a team that can strike, grapple, and think on their feet, you've got a formula for success. They take the best of all worlds and put it into their game plan. As Borralho said, no matter where the fight goes, they're ready. Now, with all these rising stars, you might be wondering who's going to be the first to claim a UFC title. It's MMA, guys, so it's tough to say. All of them have what it takes, but I've got my eye on Carlos Prates and John Silva as the front runners. Both have the skills, the mindset, and the hunger to make it to the top. But remember, this is the UFC, and anything can happen. Caio Borralho and Maurizio Ruffi are right there too, and they're not going to let anyone take their spot without a fight. Finally, what's next for the Fighting Nerds? Well, with their team growing and their fighters getting better every day, the sky's the limit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see multiple title contenders from this team in the near future, maybe a champion or two. The future of these nerds is looking brighter and brighter. And there you have it, folks, the rise of the Fighting Nerds, a squad that's blending brains and brawn to create some of the most well-rounded fighters in the UFC. With their unique approach and those cool glasses, it's clear that we're just getting started with these guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about these fighting devils. Who will be the first to claim a UFC title? And as always, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss any of our future fight breakdowns. Until next time, have a good one, fight fans, And before the YouTube algo pushes you to another piece of content, check out this video on your left, in which we wonder if we're in the era of the boring UFC champions, and how did we go from the cool submission artists, the eccentric knockout machines of yesteryear, to this new wave of dominant but boring champions, happy to have their hands raised at any cost. Find out the reason, and is this boring era here to stay?